Here I got the Maserati Gran Turismo. So the car's already out of warranty, and I was checking under the hood to see how easy it'd be to work on it, just to see what all I could access. So just looking at the car like that, there's a large engine cover covering a lot of the engine bay. So there's really not a whole lot you can see. So I went ahead and took off all the screws, and once you get all the screws off, this cover comes off really easy. It's got 3 of them, so I put them back just to kind of show. And now we're able to access a whole lot of the car, and I'll probably end up doing a little bit of cleaning underneath because there is a lot of dirt. But this looks like a very clean engine bay to me. I mean, as far as for what all I can access, I'm not really talking about the dirt, because back when I worked in cars, I would work sometimes on BMWs. This one, for example, I mean, just to look, just to access like the tune-up, everything seems just really hard to get. Danger voltage signs, so you got to be careful on what you're doing. To get to the drive belts, it looks like a nightmare. But I really like working on cars like this because they made me a better mechanic. It was really nice to get a challenge. And like if we look at this car, like to get to the tune-up, everything's right there. To get to the drive belts, this air filter box comes off, and then there'll be a lot of room right there. Just getting this component out of the way, you'd be able to access the radiator really easy. I've worked in some cars that had the engine transverse, front-wheel drive cars, and to get to the tune-up, to get to the spark plugs, a lot of times the intake had to be removed. I'll probably end up doing the oil change myself just because they wanted like $600 to do it. The oil filters like $60, and it takes 9 quarts of synthetic oil, so I can save like $300 at least if I do it myself. Maybe just under $400. It's got a regular cartridge filter. It has an oil dipstick, so that BMW that I showed in the clip does not have an oil dipstick. So in a lot of cars don't have oil dipstick, so you got to go in on the dash. It's got a sensor that tells you what the oil level is, so when you're filling it up, you don't really know if it's full or not until you go in on the dash and check it. So, and I can't even imagine what they're gonna do with the next Maseratis. That gonna be hybrids or all electric. I like this design. It seems basic, naturally aspirated. You don't have all the turbo piping and everything running all over the place. It's just simple. Another thing that I like is that it's multi-port injection. So we have the injectors right there. This car even has a fuel test port where we can check fuel pressure. A lot of cars do not have that. You gotta go in and get some adapters from a kit and disconnect some bolts, banjo bolts to hook up into your fuel lines. So that is really nice that it has that. It just helps out in diagnostics or to do a fuel injection cleaning. And talking about cleaning, like the Corvette has direct fuel injection, so that means the injectors they protrude into the combustion chamber, and that requires a high pressure fuel pump, so just a more complicated system. Direct fuel injection has several advantages, but one major disadvantage is just that the engine's more prone to carbon buildup in the valves. So this car is like the last of its kind, having a naturally aspirated V8 engine, and what makes this even more unique is that it was built by Ferrari. So the end of an era for sure. My opinion, naturally aspirated just makes the best sound. I'd like to point this out right here. This is a power steering fluid reservoir. So this car does have a power steering pump. A lot of cars have switched over to electric, like my Corvette has an electric motor, and in my opinion, I just like the feel of the car with a power steering pump. On the Corvette, it just does not feel the same. So once you have both vehicles, one with it and one without it, you'll understand and you'll see the difference. So that is really nice that it has that a power steering pump.